Greetings, Stars fans. Welcome to the depressing Two Brothers Mic'd Up show. If you didn't know, we sit down, we'll play a game of NHL, talk about the recent Dallas Stars game. It was game 60 versus the big bad Boston Bruins. And the Stars lose 7-3. As we start off each video, we go back to the last video towards the end. We always give predictions, so always stick around to the end. Quinn, you like a score of 3-2 for Dallas and a score of 5-1 for Boston. I like to score of 4-2 for Dallas and a score of 4-1 for Boston if they were going to come on top. Wildly off of our predictions. I think I'm going to let you start us off and give your feelings before, during, and a little bit of after.
You know, you start the game off and you see him coming out hard. You see him coming out with that strong play that they've been doing for the last like 6 or 7 games. They get the goal. You know, they have a little hiccup. You know, they get scored on, and then they come back. But I mean, like, I don't know what's happening with this team. Just if they just decide, hey, we just don't want to play hockey anymore, or what during the game, because it just seems like they just give up and just don't know how to play hockey anymore.
Yeah, they the past 5 periods that they've played, they've given up 3 goals out of the last 4 of the 5. So I watched the Jim Nill's State of the Stars. Sorry. And he towards the end of the video, he goes and says he thinks they are in a good spot and they don't have to do something. I disagree, because right now the Stars are not in a good spot. The only good spot they have is their offense. But as we're seeing, it's drying up. They got 3 goals, but they got it in the first period. The most of the damage that they've been doing lately has been in the first period. I mean, we saw that against Phoenix. They had a great first period for 10 minutes. In this one, we have Ales Himsky scoring within 12 minutes of the beginning. And then 3 minutes later, and then another minute later. Like, the Stars are scoring in the first period. They're getting their legs under them. But then, holy cow, does the defense just crap the bed. I don't know what it is. Like, they just completely stop playing between the periods. I don't know what's going on with the intermissions. And I mean, do you have any kind of feeling as what could possibly be going on right now?
This team has no kill instinct. They have a superstar instinct, which I feel like they feel like they're up 3 goals, so they can just do whatever they want. And in a professional league of any kind, that's the wrong kind of attitude. You need to put the foot on the throat for the entire game. You're up 3 goals. Like, there's no reason why you should get scored on 6 unanswered throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, it was pretty pathetic. Let's go down the goals. We got Himsky, Brad Marchand, Roussel, and Patrick Sharp. Patrick Sharp is a very welcome surprise to the score sheet. He hasn't been on the score sheet for, like a month and a half. But then, it's all Boston Bruins, baby, after that. We got Marchand, Miller, Louis, and then we got Krejci, Connolly, and Beletsky. I mean, it was just a absolute slaughter after the first period. You know, the Stars get that early power play. You know, the game starts with pace and everything like that, but again, we get a lot of forced passing on their power plays. Not a lot of good looks. Their entries, not all that great again. And then it was great to see Antoine Roussel fight again. He's got 2 fights now out of the past 3 games. That's what he needs to be doing. But you know what? The biggest takeaway from this game that I have for Roussel is that he needs to go and rewatch this game. He needs to go back and watch Marchand. That guy is what Antoine Roussel should strive to be. Marchand is a world-class pest. Now, some of the stuff that he was doing in the game, like that big fucking hack on Eakin, did not agree. I don't know how that went uncalled. That could have easily been a double minor slashing call. Especially since he had the puck, the focal point was over there. Eakin comes in and hits him, the puck goes away, and then he turns around and two-hands him on the back. Not sure how that gets missed, but you know what? The officiating has been pretty spare this season. And then we get these weird goals. I know we had a discussion about the Antoine Roussel goal. I didn't feel his interference impeded anything on Rask to really say that Rask couldn't have stopped that puck. But, I mean, it's a deflection, so even if Roussel doesn't touch him, Rask doesn't make that save. It still goes to where it still goes between his legs and in the net. I think that's probably why it was called a goal, because they probably deemed it, you know what, he's probably not getting that anyways. But then we see a goal that I feel... Have you ever seen a goal like Patrick Sharp's goal, like in a game?
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, it was a very weird goal, and I think I had like talked about a situation like that, because we had seen that in earlier in the first period with that Jamie Benn breakaway, and the net comes off, and I remember saying that, you know, if they knock it off on purpose, you know, it'll be awarded a goal. And then like 10 minutes later we get that same scenario, the same thing. Some people might say that's accidental, but you know what, I think it was pretty much on purpose to do that, because as a defender you'll see people, and you'll see goalies knock a net off to try to get that edge, to try to keep it on their side for having a goal go against them. It might be controversial to say that, but as a player, you always know where the net is. You always know the post is right there. It doesn't move. So to say it was accidental, I don't think so. But it was in everything, like, it just looked like the Stars were going to get the calls for him, like that. They did 2 challenges on the second goal, 2 challenges, a Toronto review and then a coach's challenge, and it both got upheld. So it just felt like a game that the Stars were going to come away with all the good calls for them, but turns out that's not exactly what was going to happen. And then, like, the defense. That's what's really killing this team, is the spare defense that this team is trotting out. And it's not just the defense, it's the offense with their defensive positioning and their lack of effort. Like Tyler Seguin after the game was saying that, you know, they need to defend with passion. Well, okay, like, defend with passion. Like, you were doing it in the first period. What changed? It's when you hear Jim Nill saying that they don't really need to change anything, that has to worry you a little bit. Like, in Nill we trust, and I know that's a big thing with the Dallas Stars fan base, but if they honestly think that this team is going to get to the next level, they're seriously delusional.
Yep, they're not going to get anywhere until the back end of this team is fixed.
I mean, in the stats and everything, like, everything was going like Dallas's way. Like, they out-hit them, which is surprising. But, and they had the most face-offs wins, so they were controlling a lot of the play. But, I mean, they get outshot. They had 13 giveaways credited to them, which I think is generous again. And then the power plays that they have, they can't capitalize on it, but they
can barely get into the zone.
Yeah, and then they give. Well, I mean, they only had the one power play, and they can't capitalize on it. But it's stuff like that they have to capitalize on. It's drying up in their penalty killing, giving up 3. I think that last one was a bit spare since it was in like the last 30 seconds. So, I mean, but you still have to play the game to the full 60. I'm really not sure what else to say about this game. And then Demir's, I mean, started out good, had that drop past Hemsky, and then after that, kind of all just started to go downhill. He takes another bad penalty. They get scored on with that one. And then the defending that he did on the Eriksson goal, where he just drops down to one knee trying to do what? Like, what kind of defensive position is that? And then you still see men in front of Kari, like the second Marchand goal. Guys just standing right there in front of Kari. And then, for some reason, you know, Kari's looking to the left of him. And then he starts moving right. And the shot comes to the left. Like he did. Kari had full vision to see where that puck was coming. And then he just moves to the right. Why? It made no sense. Like, Kari was bad in this game. He made some good stops. But some of those goals, like, he's not making himself big. He is making bad decisions. Going back to defense, Goligoski on the first Marchand goal just gives up on him. Like, Goligoski sees that the puck's coming in. He's like, all right, well, I'm just going to skate off to the side now and not give 110% on the player. Marchand is out there giving all that he has because Marchand plays like he has a chip on his shoulder. He is small, and he has to go out there and prove himself every night.
And he's doing it.
Exactly. And to see Goligoski just, you know, skate off to the side, and then Kari kind of makes the same bad decision, thinks that the puck's going right, and the puck goes left. I mean, I'm not exactly sure where the mindset is with this defense, but something has to be changed, and there needs to be a shakeup. Like, if something does not happen at the trade deadline, I think this team is going to be sorely disappointed come playoff time. And you know what? With that loss, St. Louis is a point behind us. We're going to start losing in the points race if this is what if the Stars can't fix something, if they can't find something at the trade deadline that makes sense. I was talking during this game, like, why do we keep seeing the same defense? Like, you know, take Demir's out, put someone in. Like, why aren't we seeing Stephen Johns? Why aren't we seeing Honka? Why do we continue to see Nemeth and not bring in Oleksiak? Oleksiak felt like he should have been in this game. Like, it's the big bad Bruins. That's who they are. Like, why is Oleksiak not in this game? Why do we continue to trudge out the skill-based offensive defensemen when they're getting outplayed by the offense on the other team? They're getting outplayed
Yeah, I honestly think it would probably be a good thing to actually scratch Goligoski and Klingberg for one game. I mean, the defense honestly can't be worse.
It really can't. Like
put Alexiak and put Jokipak in there, make Demers and Oduya the top pair. You know, move Nemeth and Ben up. You know, what possible bad could come from it? You lose a game, well, you've been losing the last couple games because of defense.
They're on a 3-game losing streak now because they continue to be set in their old ways. Don't mess with the offense because the offense still has that chemistry, but you look at Klingberg, you look at Goligoski, and if something goes wrong, they just have such bad body language. Like, they don't, it doesn't seem like when they make a mistake, that they are just so pissed off that they're not going to let that happen again. They just continually let things happen. Why not scratch Klingberg? I understand that he's our future, but he's a second-year player. Maybe he needs that kick in the ass to wake him up.
Maybe he just needs rest.
He could need rest.
The kid takes a pummel every game, and you know, Goligoski, he's getting up there in age. You know, it could do good for both of them to have a day off, just relax, forget about playing a game, and just rest. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, we have a doubleheader coming up against the Jets. If now is a time to shake things up on the defense. Bring someone up. Let Alexiak, let Jokipak get into the lineup. Like, what? I don't understand the thinking that this team has, thinking that the defense is fine right now, because it's not. Goaltending could be better, but I think they're still holding up their end of the bargain. It's the defense that's just letting these things happen. Yes, the offense needs to be better in our defensive zone too, but when you look in and out, like every game, it seems like something bad is talked about the defense. That's not good. Change something up. Scratch some players. Wake these players up. Scare them if you have to. Like, what could possibly happen? I mean, we're still in the top 2 in the Western Conference. You have time to play with some chemistry. I understand that it's getting down towards the stretch and everything like that, but if it keeps up like this, they're going to keep dropping in the standings. You know, LA's going to catch them, Anaheim's going to catch them, and then it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and then we're going to catch ourselves in a position to where we're going to go up against a better team in the playoffs and get routed in the first round. And I don't think that is going to be any good for the chemistry of this team. You got 2 games coming up against one of the bad teams. I'm sorry, Jets fans, but you're a bad team this year. Let's shake it up. There's, Patrick Sharp. Alex Hemsky continues to be a bright, shining star in this game. He's looked great over the past 4 or 5 games. Didn't really notice Janmark all that much. Nichushkin gets moved down to the 4th line. Roussel had a better goal, or a better game, and it's crazy that we had that conversation on him a couple of videos ago, and it seems like maybe he watched our video and was like, you know what, I do need to play better. But Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, -2. Tyler Seguin, -2. When your top guys are continuing to be -2, -3 over the last couple of games, something needs to happen. You need to shake things up. But I still think that first line of Ben, Seguin, Eves needs to stay intact. It feels like once Spezza got back into the lineup, things started getting worse because he's trying to dictate a lot of the play again. And it felt like when Spezza was out of the lineup, they went to a lot of the old school style of like dump and chase. And you saw it to where like late in the game when Spezza was taking the puck up the ice and he tries to skate through 3 Boston defenders. Like, come on, man! Like,
pass the puck.
Yeah, pass the puck, dump it in. You everybody is skating with speed, and you just slow everybody down by trying to deke out 3 players. You know, if it works, then it's the greatest play ever, but like 7 times out of 10, he's not getting through it. Maybe 6 times out of 10, but that's still in the majority of him not getting through it. Was there any player that you wanted to highlight, maybe good or bad, that someone kind of just stood out for you?
Not really. They all kind of played terrible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, the only bright shining star was Alex Hemsky because he continues to be hot right now.
I mean, Cody Eakin was a +2, so that's great. He had an assist. Demir's had a couple assists, but I mean, after that first period, he just dropped off the ledge. Fiddler, that's a guy that I want to talk about. I'm kind of over Fiddler. I think his age, although he's not that old, but I think he's just run out of everything. You don't really see a spark in him. I mean, he tried to fight the other night and just got his ass kicked. He doesn't have any like power on his shots. He makes some bad decisions here of lately, with especially that penalty he took when shooting the puck over the glass. Made no sense of what he was doing right there. And I was talking during the game, why not take him out of the lineup? I get that he's your assistant captain and he's probably a good locker room guy, but you know what? Locker room guys aren't getting it done. They're obviously not bringing anything to the locker room. If they go up on a 3-1 lead in the first period and they come out and give up 6 unanswered goals, where are the locker room guys? Who are the people that are speaking up saying this is unacceptable? Because when you trot that out against Phoenix, a team that's down in the standings, and then you come up against the best road team in the league, where are your locker room guys? I don't think Fiddler deserves a spot on the team right now. I think it's easier to say, let Fatsa come back in, let Richie come up in. Sevier, he's wearing out his welcome. He's not really doing much. Decent penalty killer, but obviously not very great since they gave up 3 penalties. Yeah, and that's all I really have to say about that. It's very disappointing with this game. Let's go into the ratings.
F. Right. Don't even have to think about it.
Just right out of the gate, just an F. You know what?
An F for fuck this game.
I gave it a D+, just because... you know what? I'm going to change it to a D-, because they had such a good first period. They had that one hiccup with Marchand. And, I mean, it looked like everything was going to go the Dallas Stars' way. It just did. But, yeah, D-. Whatever. The Dallas Stars play the Winnipeg Jets. Now, they've played pretty good against the Jets this season. What kind of predictions do you have for that one?
Well, like you said, they played good against the Jets, but hell, they also played good against the Boston Bruins last time they played them too. So nothing set in stone in my book right now.
These will be the last 2 games because it's a home and home. So this next week will be the last time we see them.
Yeah, I feel like Dallas is gonna have this game looming over their head. And I hope that it pisses them off and that they actually decide to play some defense for once, like they were doing back in the beginning of the season. So I'm going to say Dallas comes on top 2-1 in overtime. Because I don't think this team is quite capable of it yet, in my opinion. And if Winnipeg comes on top, it's going to be the same kind of route. It's going to be, we'll say 4-0.
Interesting. Yeah. I think the confidence for the Stars is it's gotta be low. I mean, I'll say 3-1 for the Stars. It'll probably be a low scoring game if the Stars win. And if the Jets win, I gotta go with the recent trend. It's gotta be like 6-2 if the Jets are gonna come on top. I mean, if Dallas doesn't bring it, I see no reason as to why they won't score 5+ goals. So, that's the discussion. Be sure to like, subscribe, share the video wherever you would like. Leave any feedback down below. And remember, this is a show for fans, by fans, so help us grow this into something that you want to watch all the time. And, as always, tune in next time.